all that's within me. Bless his holy and righteous name. I just wanted to talk a little bit today. What I want to talk about, if you all been watching my videos, you can go back if you haven't. And what I want to talk about is about forgiveness. A lot of times people struggle with forgiveness, forgiving other people. And a lot of people will say, if you talk about situations that happen in your life, they want to label you as a person that haven't forgiven. That's not true. You're supposed to talk about what happened to you. You're supposed to talk about the pain that other people inflicted on you. That's part of your story. And never let nobody make you feel like you can't talk about something because you know somebody else done something to you. But you see, they don't know what the other person did to you. You have a right to expose that person. That's your right. Because the Bible tells you expose the unfruitful work of darkness. So that means you're supposed to expose them. When you expose them, you talk about them, that uncovers their filth that they be trying to hide behind the covers. Cover, but in other words, they hide behind the mask that they wear all the time. When people don't have no discernment, they can't see behind the mask. But when you the one see behind the mask and you exposing them, those other people gonna get mad because see, they got a mask on too as well. When I say a mask on, I'm talking about a person with two faces. One way they're at home, outside they're another way. Like for instance, you'll see I use this for example, like a pastor and his, they'll be just left home fight like cats and dogs. Go to church, come back from church and still go back home and fight like cats and dogs. That's what I mean by wearing a mask. You should never have to go to the church and wear a mask at church. But church is supposed to be a hospital. It's supposed to be a place for you to get help. But I've seen this out through the years, about 36 years of dealing with church people, period. Or dealing with church. How that people you can look at them and they do all this preaching, I guess what you call it, teaching or whatever. But you can still see stuff that they got hidden that other people don't know, but they're on the pulpit or whatever, teaching or preaching when they haven't dealt with their issues. Y'all, we have to deal with our issues. Everybody have issues, but we can't teach somebody something unless we have dealt with our issues. It's too much phony stuff in the church, or even dealing with anybody, period. Guys, everybody have faults. This is the thing people have to realize. Nobody's perfect. Now look at people and the children act like the parents are supposed to be perfect. Man, ain't no darn manual on how to raise no child. Some people sit out here and trying to tell you how to raise a child. They ain't never raised now. So it's not, you have to learn your children, each child is individual. You can't raise one child the way you raise but listen, you have to have standards though. You have to have boundaries. Each child, no matter how, you still have to have boundaries. You have to have discipline. Each child is different. One child you may can holler at, another child you may not can. But you have to figure that out as parents. So when I'm saying the same thing, a lot of people out here having babies, to trap a man. Or men trying to have a baby with a woman because she got money to trap the woman, as well as, just stuff like this here. And this is some disgusting stuff, because the part about it is that these people are fake. Because how you going to stay and take care of somebody else's child, but you didn't take care of your own? You see what I mean by the fakeness? And these are people that's supposed to be in church and all this other stuff, but act like they got God. This is all in church right now. But you got a baby by somebody else's husband. But y'all acting like y'all didn't do what y'all did while the person was married. Or the person still is married. You see what I'm saying? These are stuff that goes on, which is not right. My kids, when we was coming up, in the church. If my kids, number one, they act up at school, you're not singing on no choir Sunday morning, because I don't play that. Because I taught my children discipline. I taught my children respect. It's about what the way you live at home has a lot to do with where you present yourself in a church building or around other people. I treat my children not to be fake, but to be real. But even though Donald was fake, fake as hell, but I still wasn't fake. I was who I was, and I wasn't gonna let nobody beat me into subjection to do what they want me to do. No, I'm not living with no bunch of women and no bunch of men. Number one, I'm married to have one husband, not to have a bunch of husbands running around a bunch of hoes or men or whatever. That's not what I signed up for. So the point, if that's the lifestyle he wanted, after we got married, or even before we got married, he should have said, hey, I want to stay single. I don't want to be married. Nobody forced him to twist his arm to be married. But I made it clear to him. Y'all will hear me say this over and over again. Because I think a lot of people, when you dating in the dating process, y'all talk about everything. You go from your dating process, you may want to get in a relationship. Don't go dating, then they have a sex. That's not dating. Dating is get to know each other. That's what that is. Then when you get in a relationship, you still wait. You still need to know more about that. Say y'all likes and dislikes. See where y'all can compromise at, because you may like the fish. The person may not like the fish. But, compromise. I compromised. He liked the fish. I went fishing. But he never did see what I liked. It was all about him. Never was about me or about our children. So you see what I'm saying? These are things you got to talk about. You got to search people out before you get in a relationship. Because a man or woman will get with you, and then they'll say they not married, or they're in separation, and they living in a house with their husband and wife. And they'll say, well, I'm not married, I'm separated. You're not separated. This is why I tell people, don't get in a relationship with somebody that says they're separated from their husband and wife. You make sure they show you a legal divorce paper. Also do background checks on them. Don't get in a relationship or married and this person got all kind of bad credit. No. Y'all research that. I'm trying to build y'all foundation to help you all that, and this is a major thing I always tell women or men. Love yourself. When you love yourself, you're not looking for another man or another woman to take care of you. A lot of you all are in conditions right now where you have to depend on somebody else because you don't have the ability to take care of yourself. But the things that I'm saying on these different videos I make, if you listen, you will learn how to take care of yourself. Get out, and if you don't have a job, say you're home with your children. Get your web page set up, or go to eBay. Go out and get shopping, get stuff at discount, find discount places where you could get things and you could take care of yourself. Start taking care of yourself. And how you could do that, you could get on eBay and put items on eBay to sell. These are ways for you to be independent. Don't depend on a woman or a man. Be independent. This is a major thing I always tell people. Don't ever get in a place where you have to depend on another person. And if you're in a relationship, all y'all do is fight. My relationship didn't hit me. I didn't have no problem with him hitting me. But I could tell when he was with certain women, these women was out of control because he tried to bring that home. And I said, no, you're not bringing that up in here. And different things. Like he come home with an attitude, or he come home nice. I said, you must have had a good time with your hoe. Just like that. I just let him know. I knew exactly what he was doing. But see, I had children. I was trying to raise my kids. But he wasn't going to come in my house and raise hell. He going to pay the bills. I had my own money. So I wasn't too much worried about him, like buying, fixing my hair, stuff like that. If he wanted to, fine. But he didn't. I asked him one time for $200. Asked me what it for. But see, he had money, but he was taking care of other women and their children. Some of them wasn't even his kids. But he was taking care of them because he was too dumb in a test. Because the person he was fooling with was a hoe. And, he might be still fooling with. I don't know, but that's his business. Only thing I'm doing, I'm just showing y'all the examples of different things where you all can build a foundation for yourself. You all like the video when you come in, and thank you for coming in. I appreciate you all coming in and out. And I always want to say thank you and let you know that I appreciate you coming in and out. But I just wanted to talk about that because, see, I want, like with me, I love when I see women that's independent. Because to me, I'm standing up for women that's independent. And, and I give people ideas all the time. Listen, like I said before, I have a doctor's degree. I have a master's degree. But I don't get out here, like trying to, I'm going to tell you right now, I can make plenty of money if I wanted to. When it comes to using my degrees and all that stuff, but I'm not. Right now, I'm just trying to build women up or build men up to be independent. Like I told my daughter, my son, them when they was coming up, get your own house. And like I told them, okay, say you decide you're gonna date somebody. Make sure they independent as well. If you're the independent person, if your person like to travel, make sure that person like to travel. Don't get in a relationship with somebody that don't want to travel. If you love to travel, but you get in a relationship with somebody that love to travel, guess what? Y'all relationship will be fine. Because it's okay, because they can travel by themselves. You can travel by yourself, and then y'all can meet up at a certain point, or either you travel or they travel. Which is okay. That calls trusting each other. That's called building a beautiful relationship because the trust is there. So I just want to say that, and let me tell y'all something. If y'all see me say whore, stuff like that, I do that. That's just a way of waking people up. But I'm like this here. I believe when people love God or love themselves, that person can change. Because I'm telling you, I went to a place where it was like, well, when I married, that was my husband. We had kids. Guess what? I was a mother. So I had to be a wife and a mother. So I had to make sure, my husband was okay. Make sure my children was okay. Because a lot of things he didn't know. A lot of things he didn't do. Because I didn't require him to do them. But the girl he with now, she required him. Make sure he do. He was taking care of baby. Wasn't even his. But, but he was so busy trying to take care of her, because she was younger than me. And, how to get younger women, then they want to impress the younger women. But he left his son. He didn't take care of his son. He acted like his son didn't exist because he was so busy taking care of whores. So, this is what the sad part about this is that this is why I always encourage y'all. Don't go into other people's relationship. Leave other people alone because, see, this is the thing what people don't realize. It's called sowing and reaping. So what you have, what you did in somebody else's marriage or relationship, that's going to come back to you. Matter of fact, it's going to come back to you so bad. Let me tell you something, that God not even going to allow you to ever find another man to take care of you or another woman to take care of you because that's going to be your punishment. Because you had no business interfering with somebody else's relationship. Doesn't matter if they're married or not. A relationship. But marriage is sort of different because then God will judge you for it. When you go into somebody's marriage and throw yourself trying to fool with somebody's husband or wife or have a baby by somebody's husband or wife, you just curse your child. You curse your child. I don't care what kind of witchcraft you work. I don't care if you call yourself hexing and vexing a wife and their children. You ain't going to do nothing. Because you brought yourself in those people's relationship. So you curse your own children. Yeah, the children you have with that man that was married, those kids are cursed. Because you entered into a relationship you had no business intruding in. And this is the thing I want to tell people, the most important thing about when you decide you want somebody else's husband or wife. You just open the door of condemnation for yourself and your children. When you read the book of Leviticus, I think it's the 18th chapter where it says about, like people, that's more, in Leviticus 2 talk about you don't sleep with your family members. But see, you got a lot of people that sleep with their family members. And they're cursed their children with that too. So, when I get a chance, I'm working on some things where, I can't explain it now because I got a lot of people that that monitors me, try to find out what I'm doing or what I'm saying. But y'all, I'm telling my story, and I'm telling when I speak to y'all, it's things I've experienced. That's what I'm talking about. Because if I experience it, I can help other people. Because to come into somebody else's relationship or somebody else's home and to destroy it, if that woman not solid like I am, you can. That woman may not be no good to raise her children. Nobody could be this place of selfish that they don't think about the family children. And I've seen this over and over again. And I remember my daddy used to cheat like that. And matter of fact, he had 2 kids outside their marriage. I talk about it sometimes. Not realizing the damage that he caused on my mother. Not realizing, okay, you got these 2 kids outside the home. You can't even be a father to them because number one, you shouldn't have been out there cheating no way. Now you have children outside. Those kids going to suffer because of your ignorance. That's vice versa. Women out here now, married a man, and the babies are not not the baby father is some other man. And the man taking care of the child thinking it's his. Same way with my husband. Well, I mean, way with Donald. I try not to call him my husband because he wasn't a husband. He was just a place taker. So the reason I'm saying this, it's just I want to encourage people to do what's right. Y'all don't interfere with other people's relationship because what happens, that comes back to you. Just like you call for somebody's relationship, they got children. Those children are affected. Then you think your kid's not going to be affected. But the same thing that you put out there is coming back to you. It's going to come back to your children. And that's going to continue down your family line because you established a curse, a generational curse on your family line. And that's going to go on for generations. This is why different one of y'all, I see somebody else's husband. I want that man because you think that man taking care of their wife or husband. Majority of the time, them women that's in like for instance, like me, I'm in a relationship with my husband then, when I was in a relationship with him. In our marriage. I ain't gonna say relationship, but marriage. I'm the one, okay, we got houses. I'm the one made sure we had. He didn't make sure we had nothing. So it's a point where people, you can make a person look good, but they'll get out there and pretend with you like they taking care of their family, doing all this, doing all that. But see, this is what they seeing on the outside, not really in the inside to see what's going on the inside of the home. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't talk about that. But see, we got to be honest with other people, when we dealing with each other, going out. I'm not married to him. He out in the bed with some other woman talking about me like a dog. Or with other people that he knew that I didn't even know these people. I don't know a lot of these people he hang out with because I don't hang out. My mama taught me when you're a wife, you're a mother. A wife and a mother take care of their children, take care of their husband. They don't hang out in the street. So that's the way I was taught. I don't drink alcohol. I don't take drugs. I don't smoke. I don't do all that stuff because I had children. I was a mother. Being a mother, being a wife and a mother to me was important. And I remember my daddy. My daddy would run around. First thing he said, you can't make a hoe to a housewife. And see, a lot of y'all here trying to make hoes to housewife. But see, the hoe got to be on the right track. They got to learn that, listen, baby, love yourself. People think, no, if a woman learns to love herself, and it's not too, if y'all young out here, love yourself. If you don't know how to love yourself, find out. Ask somebody. I have a master's degree. I have a doctor's degree. I counsel people all the time. I give people advice. Like people different things like grants and proposals, things like that. Yo, I do that. I had him, he stole ideas from me and took them to other women. He did all this. I just lied. Oh, forgot, lied and said I was sleeping around. Now, how I was sleeping around? I wasn't out there trying to get attention from other men. people. My sister go out with me. We go somewhere, together. Sister go to shopping or go. Okay, like we went to the casino. When the casino, we was out at the casino. We was out eating. And, out with my sisters because those are my sisters. So we do that, to have fun with each other. And they'll tell me, oh my God, that man trying to get your attention. And I said, what man? And they, there's one man, da, da, da. Because, y'all, I'm not that type of person. I don't care about trying to get the attention of another man. I don't care about that. What I care about, I have a 22-year-old son that's autistic. I care about him being okay because I'm a mother first. See, I don't have to be a wife no more, but I can be a mother. See, I had to learn how to turn being a wife off because, see, I didn't have a husband. Because he was busy taking care of other people, other women and men or whatever. So I had to learn how to be I'm not learn how to be, I already was that. But I had to take my focus off my husband, doing the wife's duty for him when he was there, well, doing his manly duty with other people. So I had to pull away from that and say, hey, I got to put myself and my son first. And that's what I did. And when I began to put myself first, y'all, that's when I learned about loving me. What it was like loving me, not always. See, I'm 67. So I had to learn. I was so busy giving out to them, but he wasn't giving me anything back. He wasn't even giving me, like, when I cook food, thank you. Or the food was good. None of that. No appreciation for nothing I would do. And but he could get out on the street and tell people I'm running, chasing him. I'm not chasing no man. What I'm going to chase him for? I don't have to chase. Men chase me. I never had to chase men. I never been desperate for men. But I'm not worried about no attention of no man. Right now, I just want to take care of my son, make sure my son's okay, do things for him, do things for myself, love upon myself, take myself out. I want to go out to eat. I can take myself out to eat. I don't need a man to take me out to eat. Last time I went out to eat, my son took me out to eat. Which I'm okay with it. Last time my sister. So I'm okay with that. Right now I have things I'm doing. I'm being directed by God. My whole life, I see people up in church, I'm a high priest, I'm this, I'm out. They do all this stuff. But then they life behind it. I can't live like that. I can't be out here sleeping around. God can't use me like that. I want to be a clean vessel where he can use when he tell me, like, I'm standing here talking to y'all, where he could just speak to me and I could talk to y'all. But if I get out here doing all that other stuff, drinking alcohol and drugs and sleeping around, God, I can't hear God. So when he told me to pull in, okay, it's time for you to love yourself. It's time for you to move out. It's time for you to do what I call you to do, because you don't waste enough time here. Your lesson, your classroom, that lesson is over. So everybody that was in class, they either passed or failed. All of them failed. Every one of them that was in my life failed. They failed miserably. Because they were too busy fighting and still trying to get what I was teaching them. I was trying to teach them how to love. Not looking for something in return, but give out anyway. And not one time that I ever really looked for anything in return. But now I don't have to do that anymore. When I say that, I don't have to serve a man anymore. That part of my life is over. Like I said, somebody, my sister-in-law would tell me, well, we were divorced. I don't know anything about divorce. Somebody, he remarried somebody. Well, I don't know anything about that. Y'all hear me say that sometimes because I don't know anything about that. I want to know, when did we divorce? We were living in the house since October. I haven't got no paperwork. He know where I'm at. It ain't like he could run around and ask people, what's here? Oh, he know where I'm at. He know very well where I'm at because he had my sister monitor me. Telling him everything. So he know where I'm at. All she's doing, listen, running back, telling him stuff. But you know what? That's her ignorance. But like I said, just love yourself. If you don't know how to love yourself, hey, I have classes. I teach people how to love themselves. I have spent time like on the phone talking to people about loving themselves. I spend time, before God so I can give people advice. I pray for people. See, a lot of times people think about outer healing, but healing starts on the inside, not on the outside. Because whatever issue you have, like high blood pressure, whatever, a lot of times those things are curses because of what you're doing with your body. You plainly, oh my God, like people that like to work witchcraft. They're going to have oh my God, it's going to be so bad this year with these people working witchcraft. It's going to be bad. God going to wipe out their whole family they keep on. And and I keep telling people over and over again about this witchcraft thing. They say, oh, you doing witchcraft. Because what happens, they doing witchcraft, it backfire on them. Especially if they doing these, what they call death spells. These death spells, that energy has to go somewhere. Everything we do, let me tell y'all something. I never forget, one time in the Bible was breathing like a human being was breathing, right? And God said everything have life to it. Life is energy, really. So when you have that life, you always have these kind of people that come in your life to try to suck the life out of you. They try to keep you in fear, keep you stressed out. Do the thing they do to try to bring all this stuff in your life. But you got people like that that's toxic. All they do is fuss and raise hell. Get them folks out your life. Get them folks out your life, because all they do is make you miserable, make you sick. Then you go home, like people go home, their husband, wife. You done been with trash, you tell people like that. You bring that mess home and confusion in your own home. You wasn't like that before you met those people. Then you get with all these people and you get crazy. Oh, they want to keep control over me. They want to do this. You got children. You need to take care of your children. See, age now, 67 years old. In your 60s, you should have been prepared when you're 60. You can enjoy your husband or your wife. Or your female friend or your male friend or whatever. That's what you prepare for stuff. Not you out here still having a bunch of babies. Just popping out babies. Don't take none of them. You can't take care of all these kids. They're half from you don't even know if they're yours or not. They somebody else's. You hear what I'm saying, y'all? You can't be doing all that stuff. Y'all got to stop this having babies for people to try to trap them. That's the stupidest. This is 2026. Go get some goddamn birth control pills. They got all kind of birth control stuff. You don't need to have children. You're crazy. Then the children crazy. And you're raising a generation of crazy people. Then you're sleeping with your family member, having children for the family member. Guess what? Then the next generation is going to have children for the family member. That's a curse. That's a generational curse. Y'all establishing new curses in your family line. And your family, let me tell y'all something. 2026, y'all don't cut that stuff out. You know what's going to happen? Y'all ain't going to have nothing in 2026. A lot of y'all going to die. A lot of y'all going to prison. A lot of y'all going to be homeless. Your children going to be taken away from you. You're not going to be able to find your children. You know how y'all traffic children? Y'all same children going to be trafficked. Y'all ain't going to know where them kids at. Because God going to allow that. Because this is what y'all did to other people's children. So you see what I'm saying, y'all? Just love yourself. And respect other people's boundaries. Don't deal with other people's relationships. Y'all know if a person in a relationship, somebody else, leave them alone. Because you got certain people out here that deliberately go into other people's relationships to destroy their relationship only. That's because people don't love themselves. They don't know who they are. Because if they knew who they are, they wouldn't do that. Because that tells me you're insufficient in yourself. And you don't believe that you can do something by yourself. And in reality, you really can. But you got to learn. Get with somebody that can teach you how to do these things. A lot of times people don't know how to be mothers. Get with somebody that you know that's been a good mother. And say, hey, reach out to them. Say, hey, can you help me? To help me, teach me how to be a mother. Because, see, it came natural with me. Because my mother was like that. Being a mother came natural with her. Being a wife came natural with her. Same way with me. But see, what I found out, even with me being a mother, I still had this desire to start my own business. Because remember now, I'm supposed to leave wealth to my children. I'm not supposed to just spend up everything buying all these fancy shoes, all this. That stuff gonna burn up one day. Then you're gonna get older. You doing all that. Why? But you're not saving nothing. You just going through money, going through money, going. Why? You have to save, y'all. You just can't spend, spend, spend. You got to save some money. Especially when you got children, you got to save for the future. You know, I asked him one time, I said, oh, what about later on in the future? Oh, you're going to take care of it. That's what he told me. That's what he said. Because he didn't care about nobody but himself. These are things, y'all, I'm showing y'all and telling y'all to help y'all. Well, y'all don't have to go through what I've been through. I went through it so I can teach you all. But listen, you all leave me a message, you know, you can message me at the bottom. I think my comments be open after I close it. And, you know, you need counseling or you need somebody, you know, you could talk to or whatever, you know. But I do charge. I charge for my counseling because I have a doctor's degree. So, you know, that's something that has to be paid for. And I do everything through my Cashapp. I don't do it through my other account. My Cashapp is easy for me because I can lock it. When I'm not using it, I can lock it. And then I can reopen it. But, you know, if you need somebody that you could talk to, you know, I charge by the hour. Or charge, you know, sometimes I do 30 minutes, I do an hour. And, you know, like say you do a 30-minute session and you go to an hour. All you have to do is just send me the other part of the payment. I don't, you know, I try to trust people. Well, I don't try to trust people. I do trust people. Regardless, because I know different people in different places right now. You somebody say my session $100 an hour. You may not afford that $100 an hour. But if you can, you know, pay that. If you can't, you know, like I had people before, you know, like pay me an hour. You know, $100 an hour. Then what they'll do, okay, we may be 30, you know, they have something to do. And I tell them, I said, well, you know what, if you want to do the other 30 minutes later on, you know, we can still do it. And they said, no, I just want to thank you for, you know, your advice and different things. I have people with business. I have people that, you know, they talk about establishing business. I talk to them. I tell them, help them how to establish their business. See, these are things, you know, I tried to do with Donald, but he was so busy, you know, doing with other women that he didn't have time to build his own house. He was building other women's homes, taking care of other women, which is, you know, which is okay. That's his life. That's what he chose to do. So now that's his destruction because he didn't build his own house first. He went out building other women, you know, other men, you know, taking care of other men's children. And, you know, like I always tell y'all, I got a 22-year-old autistic son. Oh, my God, beautiful, sweetheart. He's a sweetheart. He's a protector of his mother. He stand up for his mother, and I thank God for that I do have him, and God gave him to me, and I know he did. So, you know, and I'm grateful for that. And I thank God for his protection over my children, you know. I have children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. We got great-grandchildren. He out here still having babies. Now, how dumb is that? He don't do nothing for his grandkids, no great-grandkids. He just a loser. You know, it's sad to say. He probably out there pretending. I think he got a grandchild by some hoe he done got. You know, this is stuff people do, like they doing something. And that's to me, that's a sign of an ignorant person. You didn't build your own house. You up in somebody else's house, you know, trying to build. But y'all, building your own house. You know, you got a husband or wife. Take care of them. Put them first. You know, take care of your children. Don't be out here having a bunch of kids outside your marriage or, you know, in a relationship. Y'all try to, you know, get together with somebody where y'all can build a home together. Where you can raise your children together. Where y'all can love on your children together. And that, you know, this is the main thing I talk about. Because when you all having babies here, having babies there, or, you know, one woman having 5 or 6 daddies and stuff like that, y'all, we got to get away from that. Because we got to get those kids together in one house. You know, because you may meet somebody that will take care of you and your kids while you work, they work, you know, establish and build together. But I mean, if you don't do that, if you can help it, because you don't need all those kids and you don't need all them daddies. This is nothing but drama. This is why I told my husband before I married him, I found out see if he had any kids. I had kids. But see, I knew if he had kids, I had to deal with drama. I'm not a drama person, and I'm not going to deal with drama. I never have been a person that just drama, drama, drama. He have, because he was with different women, and he would bring the spirits from them women in our home. So I told him, you can't bring that here. You know, this is the thing y'all don't realize. When you out there fooling with different people, you bring those spirits from them people home. And your home not going to be solid. You know, you building, you know, like a one-way relationship. I'm building our house. I'm seeing our children. I'm doing everything, but he out doing everything else with everybody else. Pretending like he's this good man. You know, they taking care of other people. Pretending. That's what he did. And that's what he's doing now. Still same thing, pretending. Nothing is real. Nothing's real. But you know, at the same time, like I said, and I will make it clear, I don't need him to come and apologize to me. I forgave him because I forgave him years ago when he first decided to cheat. I forgave him. Every time he lied, I forgave him because I knew he was lying. But that was my classroom. I had to learn. But when the class is over, it's over. You can't reopen the class door because that class door is closed. Well, you know how you all get in college. When you go from high school, you go to college. You go from college, you go to your profession. So now I'm in my profession. So I don't have to go back that way. Never again. I've learned everything I need to learn in that relationship. So now, by me learning relationship or how to raise my kids, I have a son right now. He's in Portugal. I have a daughter. Both those kids love to travel. You know, other kids, you know, they able to go and do whatever they want to do because, see, I raised my kids. My mother and father helped me with my older 4 kids. Well, older 3 kids, and then the 4th one, his dad helped. So, you know, he stayed with his dad because his dad was a school teacher and a coach. So I wanted him to have that part of life where he could be with his dad. And my mom and my dad helped me with my other 3 kids. So my older kids, their father died last year in October. So, you know, and I'm, you know, trying to support my kids, even though they're grown, you know, but I still try to be there with them when they're going through things. You know, it's hard losing a parent because I've lost both of my parents. And it's not easy when you lose your parents. My mother was my best friend. We talked all the time. We talked, but you know what, y'all? She never got in my relationship. She always said, you have to make up your own mind. You know, you decide. You know what she said one time? She said, let me tell you something, Joe. She said, do you know, I've seen people where they get in other people's relationship. And these people end up, everybody of the whole family fighting around them. Because they didn't pull the whole family in their relationship. Then they end up back together. The family mad. Everybody mad at each other, but they back together. And that's what she told me, you know. And just like my son, I want my sons to treat their wife right. I want them to treat their girlfriends right. You know, my son in Portugal, you know, I watch him with his girlfriend. And he goes places and he makes sure he'll call her, see if she wants something. And you know what that does? That makes me feel really good because that tells me I raised him right. And I love to see how he's putting her first. Yeah, I love, you know, just listen to him talk and you know how they get along and they do, you know, way they do. That's them. That's their relationship. And, you know, and I pray that, you know, God would increase them every day. And I listen to him talk and I listen to the maturity in his voice. You know, and I listen to, you know, all my kids listening to him. And I'm very proud of him. I'm proud of the way he treats his girlfriend. Because that's the way he treat her, the way I wanted him to treat her. You know, with any of my sons, you know, I want them to treat their wives or girlfriends. Treat them good. Be good to them. You know, honor them. You know, not go run around cheating on them and stuff like that. No. I don't want none of them girls to go through that. None of my, you know, daughters and son-in-law, none of them go through that. Even dating, you got to respect one another. You know? And I want my daughters to have beautiful, men that's gonna love them. They're gonna take care of them, even though they independent, but still a man to take care of them, but still have their own at the same time. Same thing with my sons. I was talking to one of my sons today, and yesterday, and we was talking about relationship. And I would tell him, he said the lady, the girl he's talking to, she have her own place. Then, he's got his place. And I was telling him like this here. I said, well, she got her place, you got your place. But I said, if y'all get in a relationship where y'all want to get married or whatever, I said, she should come to your place. Now, unless y'all going to, get another place together, she should be able to keep her place, you keep yours. That way she still have somewhere, if it doesn't work out, she still have somewhere to go. So this is how I teach them. I teach them right. I don't want to teach them to get over on nobody. I don't do that. I teach them to do what's right in the sight of God. This kind of got a little lengthy. I didn't intend for it to get this long. But, I just want to encourage you all. Even though, y'all, I might be saying hoes or this, stuff like that. But just listen. You are a person. You deserve to be independent. You don't need to depend on a man or woman. Love yourself. You won't be clinging. Y'all, a lot of y'all got the narcissist problem. Y'all narcissists. Y'all got those spirits, those incubus and succubus. Incubus and succubus spirits, lust spirits. Lust don't keep no man with you. Witchcraft not going to keep no man with you. I don't care. You can work that witchcraft on a man or woman all y'all want to. Let me tell y'all what happens. That person sometimes, I've heard of them, that witchcraft getting off of that person, and y'all being to destroy that person's life, that person come back and kill y'all. Them people will come back and literally kill y'all because y'all destroyed their home. Y'all destroyed their life because y'all was selfish. By working witchcraft on them, you had the incubus spirit and succubus spirit. You imparted that spirit in them. They got full of that lust demon, and they just laying around with everything they could lay around because you the one had that spirit from the beginning, and that's where they got it from. Because you was working that witchcraft, and then y'all get up in these cults. Then these demons just take over. Y'all want to kill people and all this other stuff. But let me tell you something. See that same person you put that witchcraft on? Remember that same death spirit that you sent out? That spirit will come back. I'm going to tell you what. Don't be careful. That same man or woman that you call yourself getting from somebody else, that same man or woman going to kill you. Because, see, you worked that witchcraft. You sent that death spell to that husband or that wife or the children. Guess what happened? Your children going to die too. Because you sent that out. Not nobody else's child. Your child. Because that's what you sent. This is why y'all hear me deal with different subjects. I try to break them up, but then God will say, okay, just say this, say that. So I have to say whatever he's telling me to say, y'all. But I do want to thank y'all for coming in, and thank you for liking. Come back, follow me. Come back, because I'm going to be doing a whole lot of things later on. I can't do them right now because I have something I have to go through where I'm going through right now. It's a whole nother level that God is taking me through right now. But I do come out here. I come out here and talk. And I want, I said, I like to say, I'm not an evil person. I'm a person of love. Just because people do something to me, that don't make me hate them. I don't hate a person. This is why I'm out here now talking to people and tell them, hey, you know what? You better than that. Because you are. You just can't see it, but you are. And I don't hate nobody. I don't hate no woman that slept with a man that slept with him. Because you know what? That's who he is. He doing the same thing to each one of them. So, he does the same thing. So, I'm not being hurt by it because I know who he is. And, when people call themselves going to get with somebody to hurt you or this, I'm not hurt by that. I don't care how many women or men he sleep with. I'm not hurt by it because I know who he is. See, even when y'all first try yourself trying to come forward, it's already what it is. I didn't put no confidence and trust in him. This is why I had my own money. When he was going around saying I was stealing from him, I never stole anything from him. Not one time, because I didn't have to. I had my own way of making money. God would bless me. Every so often I work for the Census Bureau because that's what I like doing. I like meeting people. When I worked at the Census Bureau, I met different people. I would do that part-time because I love doing that. But that was my part-time job. He worked with traffic, did everything he could do. Him and, the different people that he worked with, that do witchcraft, try to block me from jobs, all this other stuff for what? I didn't even understand why would a person try to block another person. You already screwing everything you could screw. But then want to say I was messing with, laying up with other people. Somebody even lied and said that I slept with them. And that's a lie they made up. But it's not my lie, that's theirs. But that lie gonna cost them their life if they don't get it right. They're not gonna escape the lie. They're gonna have to pay for the lie that they told on me, that they conquered up. Anybody that lie, that carried a lie, Donna said, got paid to spread a lie. They got to pay for that. I don't. Only thing I got to pay for what I do. This is why I love people regardless. Even if a person came up to me and said, hey, I slept with your husband. Oh, okay. That's all. I say, okay. Oh, I got your man. What man? That's what I'm saying. What man? My man is God. God is my man. I love God. This is why I'm not moved by all this stuff, this cheating and all this stuff. I'm not moved by that. Because I know who I am. I'm not running behind that. I don't have to. Because I know I love me. I'm here for a purpose and I know my purpose. That's why I didn't get wrapped up in that flesh. Yeah, when cheating, yeah, it hurts you. But you learn to, they done did it so long that you just, what, I got to raise my kids, do what God called me to do. I know I'm here on a mission. It is what it is. That's them. I didn't have to worry about it. Guess what? High blood pressure, sugar, all these other stuff. She probably got AIDS, HIV, gonorrhea, syphilis, anything. Because you sleep, you sleep around with men and women. You can have a man, okay, if this is what people don't understand. If you with a man and this man sleeping with a woman that's sleeping with other men and other women, or you got, they sleeping with homosexuals. Some people sleep with homosexual and straight people. So then those same spirits and those people, guess what? They spread them from person to person. Every person they sleep with, guess what? They getting a part of that spirit. Because it's spiritual. A lot of times people don't understand. Everything we deal with is spiritual. And it's a lot of things. I just want to give y'all a few things out here. I just want to encourage y'all. Y'all love yourself. Be all that you can be. When I say be all that you be, when you love yourself, that's when you start seeing what you really can be. And let me tell you something. Even if you marry a relationship, don't let that person ever stop you from doing what you want to do. Because every time, y'all, he would steal everything, any idea I had, he would steal it and take it somewhere else. If I say somebody, okay, like one time I said, I want to open up a home for children. He told me, I don't think you should do that. You can't trust people and this. And he did everything he could. Anytime I came up with things, he would always make it cute, but yet he was working with other women. Because he's my competition. He was jealous. I had to learn he was my competition. He was jealous. That's why he went out talking about me to other women and other people, lying to family members, everybody. He lied to everybody. And everybody, they turned against me for him, but I've been around these people. So I'm like, what is wrong with these people? But see, they love darkness rather than light. They love a lie rather than the truth. They rather take that lie and run with that lie. But that's who they are. They're liars, and he's a liar. Birds of the same feather flock together. People that don't want to know the truth, or if you call them out for stuff they doing, they're going to try to get mad and then want to turn it over on you. I had different things happen. I just sat back and smiled. because that what the people did tell on themselves. So you just sit back and let people tell on themselves. You don't have to worry about it. You just keep speaking your truth. You keep telling your story. I don't care, y'all, how big and small your story may be. Somebody needs to hear it. Just like, for instance, okay, if you're a clinging woman, oh, you got to have this man. You got to control and manipulate this man with witchcraft. A woman with witchcraft. Oh, I got to manipulate. You insecure in yourself. Why would you have to take control of a person through witchcraft? Do you know you're going to be punished for that? Because, see, you went against that person's will. God gave us all a will to choose. When you work witchcraft on somebody, you manipulating and controlling that paid person, and you will pay for it. You don't never get by with things. This is what people don't understand. We never get by with doing evil stuff. I don't know if I shared this with y'all. The other day I went to Sam's, right? I think I did share it on one of them. And this man came up to me at the gas station at Sam's. And he was selling candy. Suckers. That's what they were, suckers. He was selling suckers. I said, hey. And I said, oh, you're doing it for the school? He said, no, I'm doing it because, we done fell on hard times, him and his wife. I said, well, were you able to get any food stamps, anything like that? He said, that we only got $27. Y'all, what is $27? This is a disgrace. And, and I told him, I said, well, would you like something to eat out of Sam's? He said, really? You would do that? I said, yeah, I'll do it. I said, oh, he was one of the farm. I said, no, you just go ahead and do what you're doing, and I'm going to come back down and look like Sam took forever, y'all. I think it took me 30 minutes in Sam. And I'm like, oh my God, I done ordered this stuff for these people, they may be hungry, and I was like, oh my God, but God was working patience in me. I was like, oh, I just want to hurry up so I can, give them that food, because I didn't want to be, you promise somebody something, and then it's taking you forever, and I was like, Lord, please don't let them leave, because I gave them my word that I would, bring them something out. So, he was gone when I came back out, but she was still there. So I rode around the parking lot, and I saw her. I said, hey, your husband's the one selling the candy, right? She said, yeah, he told me to wait for you. I said, well, I said, thank you so much for waiting for me. I'm sorry it took so long, because the people in Sam, I'm telling y'all, I never seen Sam's have that many orders. I'm telling you, God was working patience in me, and I was so in a hurry. I was like, oh my God, y'all just got to hurry up. I got to feed them. Y'all, this is my heart. My heart is to help people, and always been that way. I don't tell everybody what I do behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know that I help other people. A lot of people don't know that I may pay somebody's electric bill. I may pay somebody's water bill. I may pay, send food to somebody's house. See, people don't know that about me. You think I got a whole, no, I don't have a whole lot of money. But God always provides. I had somebody one time, their water was electric or water was off. We worked every way we can to try to help get what needed. We're able to get flashlights and things where they have some kind of lights and stuff until we can get, everything else processed. Everything take a while. But I made sure they have coolers to put ice in, water, send them different things that they need. The kids was kids. It was 2 kids. But I would not change that for nothing in the world, because I was helping a family. May have to send, like, on Cashapp, somebody may, oh, I just need $5 more for a pizza. Send them $5 more for a pizza. But this is my desire, is to help people, not all this stuff. Y'all, like I told y'all before, I'm good with finding me something on Temu or Kohl's. I shop at Kohl's all the time. I don't shop at Kohl's all the time because Kohl's is so far from me. Well, I would buy things at Kohl's. Guys, if I would list to you all the amount of people that I have helped throughout the years, then nobody know I helped them. You know why? Because that's between me and them. That wasn't for me to advertise over the. That was me helping them. Not getting no money from Donald or nobody else. But I have a heart to help people. And this is what I do. I do that behind the scenes. When people lying on me, saying all kind of stuff about me, it don't bother me. Because my mother always told me, she said, Joe, she said, let people talk about you. Just as long as what they're saying is not true. Because people are going to talk. And then I learned that. You know how that a lie, they say how a lie spreads so fast? It does. Because it's a lie. It's no meat to it. It's just milk. It just flows. The water just flows. I can say it's water because water flows quicker than milk. You know, that's a lie. So everybody like lies and they just run with it. Which is okay because, number one, every lie told, they got to give account for it. I don't have to give account for it. But, you know, guys, if you see somebody, but, you know, you have to be led by God. Very simple. Don't give out no money, you know, because a lot of times the ones money, you know, because I thought about this little guy. And I said, well, hey, how about you be getting y'all something to eat? He was okay with that. So that told me that he wanted the food as well. You know, he needed food, he needed money. But right then, they needed food. It was hot outside. It was 90-something degrees, y'all. So I went and got them some food, and I got them some drinks with ice in it. This is what I did. Because they needed it. So, you know, y'all, if y'all see somebody, see if they want to eat. I know one, I'll never forget this. I went to Texas, I think about 4 or 5 months ago. I went to Texas. I went to see one of my friends in Texas. So when I was in Texas, we was on our way back to her house, right? So this gentleman, he was standing outside the place we went in to order some pizza for the kids, right? So I had just came out, oh my God, this expensive restaurant, right? So I never eat all my food in a restaurant. I don't know, I just don't eat a lot. So I had this, I'm trying to remember, some kind of sandwich. I always cut my sandwich in half because I never eat those sandwiches. So I eat so much of the fries, eat so much sandwich. So this guy was outside hanging on, and I wondered if he want that sandwich. You know, I'm not thinking, well, Joe, later on you might need that sandwich. I ain't thought about that. I was just saw him and looked like he was hungry. So when I asked, he said, oh yeah, I'll take it. I said, yeah, because I said, I just come out the restaurant. I said, I didn't buy it. I said, I cut it, I always cut them because I never eat a whole sandwich. So, you know, and he took it, and he was so grateful. He said, thank you so much, thank you. Because he said I was hungry. And I was like, wow, Lord. You know, oh, thank you, Father. Oh, y'all forgive me. It just, when I see people hungry, see people in need, you know, it just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I don't like to see homeless people. Because, you know, I think about my husband's trying to make me homeless. Me and my son, my special needs son. He was trying to literally make me homeless. Plus my sister, you know, she called my son. She told my son to put me out. This my sister Nettie. You know, and y'all forgive me. I just, you know, to think about somebody could do something like that because, you know, that she's screwing my husband. It's just unreal. And y'all, I mean, I didn't treat her knowing everything I knew. I still didn't treat her bad. I still showed her love. But I'm not going to never let nobody stop me from loving other people or doing for other people. No matter how evil they are. See, this is what people do. The devil sends people in your life to try to make you turn to a wicked, evil person. But I refuse to do that, y'all. Because I have to be a faucet. When I say a faucet, I have to be there for other people. So this is where my life been. It's always been centered around other people. So this is what I do. You know, I help other people. And I love helping other people. You know, this is why, you know, this is the only reason I put up Cashapp. You know, so, you know, to have more money to help other people. You know, I have my own little things I have to take care of. But, God have made a way where I can help other people, and that's what I do. But, I like to let people know why I do things. I just don't do things to do things. Yeah, that is for to just help extra money to help more people. That's all it is. It's not nothing. Number one, I don't, nothing to pay my bills. My bills are paid. Matter of fact, my bills are paid up, not just paid. They paid up. So, but, whatever I get is to help, different people I meet, like the other day. I am thankful to God that I did have money where I could buy them something to eat, you know. And He have provided for me all my life, you know. But listen, I'm not going to talk too long, but I'm just want to say, in all of this that I said, y'all remember this: love yourself. And when you love yourself, you can love others. And you can love them with a pure heart. And that's what you want to do. Don't let nobody, no matter what they do to you, don't let them ever stop you from loving or giving to others, regardless of what you're going through. Okay? Listen, y'all. Y'all have a nice day. And thank you all for joining, coming in, joining the live. Thank you. I said, even if you have to stay a little while and leave, make sure you come in and like the video. And I want to say this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all so much for coming in, spending time on my live, or coming back watching my videos and joining my, joining, following me. I want to just say from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. And, God is good. And I don't encourage people to go to church. I encourage people to get a relationship with God for themselves. Not tell them run up in the church. No, I don't do that. I think, to me, the most important thing is for you to have your own relationship with God. Because the church can't teach you that. Only God can. Because the majority of the churches you go to, they don't even know God. They be on the pulpit preaching a word that they don't know nothing about. They're not one with that word. But listen, I thank you all so much. So much. And I want you to know I don't take this for granted. But I speak the blessings of God that they will overtake you. I decree that the healing flow of God will heal all your family lines. That every generational curse that tries to hang over your family. Some of y'all have premature death, where people die young. That God didn't intend for that, That the protection of God would be over y'all. That the overflow, that God would overflow over your life. But keep your heart right now. Your heart has to be right in order for God to move on your behalf. I can speak the word of God over you all I want to, but if your heart's not right, you don't have the right motive, it will not. The word will not bless you. The blessing, the prayer will not bless you, not go forth on you, because you have to have a pure heart. Okay? Listen, thank you all again, and have a nice evening.